Hey guys, Monday afternoon, and we are doing a bit of work on our menu. So let's take a quick look at our menu, and so far I have got it so that if you hover over the new game, he goes over, has a look at that, and I'm going to show you how I did that, and then I'm going to work on adding other animations depending on which option they hover over. Then we shall work out when they click a button, it'll do another animation, and we shall either load a new menu, load a level, or exit the game, or whatever. Okay, so the first thing I did was create a character. Okay, and I added the animation blueprint to that, except apparently I didn't. Okay. Now, I don't know why that is. That's a weird one. Yeah, I added it to the skeleton. No, I didn't add it to skeletal mesh either. That's all a bit weird, I've got to say. Okay, well, I added the animation blueprint somewhere. Okay, and then we actually added the animation blueprint, which is this one here. And we created, hey Mr. Spock, how you doing? We're working on the main menu here. So we created a state machine, which at the moment just has one state, which is fine, but we're going to create some more states in a moment. And we created an enum with idle, looking behind, pointing, annoyed, and that's the 4 we've got right now. And we can add another one if we want, so we can look at this and we shall have shaking head no, right? Shake head no. Right, we can do something else for that later. We can do like it drops to his knees and begs or something, right? Something a bit funnier, but we're just going to get this to work for now. So we're doing our looking behind. Next we'll do our pointing. Okay, so if we go back here and then we go to our blueprint, then we can add a state and we'll say pointing. Okay, and we'll move it to here. Then we shall add this, and then we shall add back the way. Okay, and then in here what we do is we add the current state, we get it, and then if it equals pointing, then we allow it to transition into this animation. Okay, and that's how we get that to work. Now we still have this one to do. So what we do is we basically say get, and if this is moved back to idle, we allow it to go back the way to idle. Okay? Then we can tidy this up a bit if we like. And the next thing we do is we go into our menu and we basically duplicate that we come to here, we say pointing, and we allow it to go back to idle. Okay, and that should work. And this is for continue, right? So new game, we've got one thing to do. We didn't actually set the, got to go to state machine, pointing, and we've got to get our pointing one. And that goes into there. And now there we go. And we can do the same thing for all the other ones. Okay. So we can go back to our state machine, and if we look at this, we've got annoyed, right? So we can add a state, and that's going to be annoyed. And we can do our transitions back and forward. And then this time we'll set this up first. And this is annoyed here. So we can just pop this in. Okay. But we need to set our transitions now. We grab our current state, get, then we say equal to, and what we'll do is we shall copy this, we'll say annoyed, and that goes in there. Save that. Back to our state machine. Double click this one. Paste that. And then that goes straight in. Because we want it back to idle. Okay. You can save that. Then we can go back to here and we can add another state, and we can say shake head, right, and we grab this one that goes in there. Save that. Then we add our transition, and we do our transition back the way. Double click that, paste that, select shake head, and put that in there and save it. And we've got one more to do. Okay, so we've got to go back the way, and that's going to be dead easy because all we need to do is put the idle back in. Move that, do that, save that. Then in our menu, all we need to do now is duplicate that, move it to here, duplicate that, then duplicate it again, right. Now all we need to do is join these up, and that's going to be shake head. That's going to idle. This is going to be annoyed. That's going to go into there. Right, so we've only got really 4 at the moment, so we're going to have to add a 5th. Right, but you'll get an idea of how it's going to look anyway. So that one's going to do the same thing. And there you go. So we have our different options controlling what animations we're actually playing here. Okay. And we can finally come back to here, go to our state machine, and we can add a state, and this is going to be charge, right, which is a bit of a weird one. I might need to do some jiggery pokery with this. Okay, and we don't really want that anymore. Right, so we get our current state, and have we only got 4? Have we only got 4 states apart from idle? Yeah, we have. Right, okay, so we need to add one more to that, which I haven't got there, so we need to get this and charge, save that, go back to here, update this. Go back to our state machine, actually go back to here, and we shall copy that back to our state machine, back to here, paste that, plug it in there, that's going to be idle, save that, then back to our state machine, go back to our charge, and we do this one. Okay. And then we go back to our main menu and we change that to charge. So we have looking behind, pointing, annoyed, shaking head, which is pretty much not far off that one, and charge. Okay, so we can look at this. Okay. Then obviously we can click on that and that's going to start the game. Now we do have another thing to do now, and that is bringing in another character, and his name is, wait for it, Nosferatu. Ooh, bet you're all excited there. So what we do is we bring this in, and a friend of mine who is a modelling guy made these two things for me actually, and he's working on some other monsters and stuff. And we're going to do standard shader on this for now. Okay. Animated time, so it's kept all the ones from before. So import. And now we can have a look at this guy, because he's a bit of a guy. Yes to all. Okay, these, as far as I know, these are done in Character Creator. You'll notice I've now got a plugin for setting it up, and that setup thing brings up what type of shader you want on it. The other one, because it's the menu and all the rest of it, that I did that as a high quality. Now we're going to be doing a bit more work on this one with animation blueprint, whatever. This is going to have to work on the animation blueprint, and so this is going to be the tie-in between the character movement, the animation blueprint, and the behavior tree. Once this actually loads up, it's taking its time, but I'll get there. Don't worry about that. Don't know why it does that, but anyway. Right. So we are not going to do any retargeting on this, right? I did some retargeting on the other one to use the mannequin stuff, but I don't think we actually need to do that in this particular instance, right? Because what we're going to do is we're going to use Mixamo, and I'll show you a way that we can use Mixamo without it causing us errors, right? I'll show you it causing us an error, and then I'll show you how you get around it. So what we can do is, this is our Nosferatu. Bit of a scary dude. Okay. And what we're going to do is we are going to open up Mixamo, which I had open earlier. Okay. And we'll bring this across so you guys can see it. Right. If you doing, right, I'm not going to show you an error here because I don't know how to refresh. Well, probably if I just refresh this, alright. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. Right, I'll show you. Right, we'll go back into here. And the answer they gave, by the way, wasn't a very good one. The Unreal Engine forums didn't give us a really good answer. Okay, it keeps loading this back up, right? It'll give you an error if you don't load up your own character, okay? So, the point being here that what I'm going to do is I'm now going to upload Nosferatu. Okay. So if I load up him, and then all we need to do is pick the ones we want. Okay. So we'll just leave this to do its thing for a minute, and then we'll be cool. Okay, once it's loaded, so in the meantime, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to create a character. Right, so we'll create a character and we'll call it BP Char Nos Ferratu. Okay, and then what we'll do is we shall create an animation blueprint, and Nosferatu skeleton, and we'll call that anim underscore BP underscore Nosferatu. Right, so we've got our blueprint ready to go, we have our character ready to go, and we're just waiting on Mixamo, and that looks like it's done. There we go. Okay. So the next thing we can do is we can basically do a look. And I think the very first one was the one that looks the best for him. Right, so all we need to do is basically do this. Click on him. And that's the wrong character. Why has it gone to that character? Is this a download? Is this like a drop down now? Right, so while that's doing that once again, we shall open this up. We shall select our mesh. Then we'll drop our skeletal mesh in. Right, and we'll set them down. Then we'll get them totally on the ground. And that's a wee bit too much. That should do us. Compile that, go back to perspective. Right, so that's him set up. Now we can go to Mixamo. What? How come it did that before? Is there a way that I can change this? Right, I might need to, I'm going to do this one more time, right? And if this doesn't work, I'm going to reset it, reset Mixamo. Right, so this dude here, he should be using this one. Okay. but we haven't got any animations yet, so we're gonna have to, well, I'll tell you what we could do. We could go into here, right, and we can just say basically state machine. Machine. Pop that. And s match underscore Nosferatu. Okay. Then we'll add a state and call it idle. We haven't got anything to put in there yet, but we will. Right, and then in the variables we're going to have monster state, and that's actually going to be monster state, and we're going to save that. Okay. And right, we can go back to Mixamo now, and you can see there that he's done. Ah, we didn't press next the last time. Right, there we go. Right, we like that. So we download that. Okay. And basically if you do this, it'll download properly, right? Whereas if you don't use your own character, it can't target the right thing, so it kind of screws up. So if we now go to downloads, and this will be right down the bottom here, right, and we drag this in here, we can minimize that and that. This is going to say cool, and we'll say import. And once it's imported, there we go. And that is not what we wanted, okay? It didn't do it the same way as it did for our other character. So what we're going to do is I'm going to delete it, delete everything there. Right, now obviously I haven't found the answer to this. Although I haven't said that, did this do this the last time? Can't actually remember. But what we'll do is we'll go back to our downloads here, right? And we'll notice that that is 9K, right? And if we go back to Mixamo, we'll delete that. And we'll click on download again. Ah, you see without skin. That's the difference. We download this. Right, then we can show in folder. We can drop it in. And I can't remember doing that part, but anyway. And there is our looking around. And now what we can do is we can pop this in here. And there we go. Lamb. Okay. And in fact, the funny thing is that this isn't actually going to be... Oh yeah, it is. We're actually going to be creating a blend space out of this. Right? So what we're actually going to need here is animation, blend space. We're going to be using this one. And we'll call it blend idle walk underscore Nosferatu. Right? And we can't actually create this yet until we actually go back to Mixamo. Right? And we do like a walk. And we could have this one. This is like a bit of a creepier walk. There is like a these are all just, I'm just getting the feeling Nosferatu wouldn't walk like a normal person, you know, like a swagger along. They would have like a this type of thing. I don't know if we're going to be able to use that though, because we really want, do we really want to walk? We probably want to walk in place. We could use it to blend between these if we wanted. Hey ZGT, how you doing, bud? Right. So we've got Scary Clown Walk. There's Drunk Walk. Right, we're not wanting any of the kind of weird ones. There was an Orc Walk, I know that. Which wasn't a normal walk. As I said, we can't really give this guy like a normal walk. injured walk. I think we'll go back to that other one. Right, unless I find that there's the orc walk, and that's pistol walk. There is orc walk somewhere. It must be at the end or something. We'll see if we can find them and see how they look. Alright, he's definitely not going to walk with a swagger or a gun, and he's not going to walk sad. Here's the orc walk here. I kind of like that, because that's more of a like a... That was that scary clown walk thing, wasn't it? Yeah, that's just a bit too exaggerated, I'd say. There's this old man walk. Right, that's a bit slow. Alright, what else have we got here? I don't think Nosferatu would walk while texting. Right, we're not going... We like this. Right, so we're going to download this without skin. Go for it. And this will allow us to do our blind space for walking. Right, and I need to actually Nosferatu and import. There we go. And now what we can do is we can have his normal position. Hey Thomas, how you doing, bud? His normal, then this is going to be speed, and this is probably going to be 300, so I'm going to put that in, and then we're going to have our orc walk about there. Right, so that's fine. We're going to have to get the modeler to check this, check his clothes and sort that out, but in theory... Hey Relocation, how you doing? Right, so his clothes are a bit weird, but we're not going to worry about that for now. Right, so if we go back to here and we go back to his animation blueprint, right, we are actually idle is going to be this. Right, and we're going to be adding this. You're probably better not hearing about things. Right, so we need to delete that and change this to the right thing, which is not going to be an integer, it's going to be a float. Don't need outside windows. Right, because you're never going to see outside. So that solves that problem. Right, so we've got our speed. That's cool. And yeah, that's cool. So now, as you can see, that's pretty cool actually. For the floor. I don't know what you mean. Right, we need to go back to our main menu because it's not quite set up yet how it should be, right? But that's okay. In fact, I've still set up the proper camera for this and the controller for the menu, but fundamentally it's going to end up looking something like that, right? I can be a bit more precise about it later, but we've got this all working. If you weren't here earlier, what I was doing was I was setting the character to react to the menus, right? So if I do that, it reacts. If I do that, it reacts. If I do that, it reacts. You know, so it's just a different reaction for each of the menus. They're a bit, well, they're not boring, but there's a couple that are too much the same, and I've just got to set up the camera. But the point was to get it to work so that, as I said, the menus actually did something, right? And this is actually kind of how I envisioned it, right? With the character over here, the lighting. Yeah, the lighting's not quite right yet. I only just basically mucked this together this morning, right? So it's not perfect. There's only a couple of lights on it. I probably need like a directional light somewhere. And I probably need to, like, I know that you're supposed to do certain things in lighting and blah blah blah. Right, so we should probably do something like that. Right. I wanted it to look, or here was my thought. My thought was it'll look like, you know how when you're on stage and you've got a spotlight on you and you've got like the round thing, right? Well, I know I could achieve that with the spotlight, but what I just did was basically made a material, right, that's basically transparent at the edges, which gives me the round plane, right? And then plonked him down on top of it and stuck a couple of spotlights on top of him. Ta-da! Right? That was kind of the idea, or how it ended up, right? But I mean, what I could do is like point this one up at him. And that's the wrong way. Well, as I said, I'm not a designer or anything, so I just think of these things and do what sounds like a good idea at the time. You know? So there's that. I mean, that looks okay to me, right? That actually looks like kind of what I wanted. Now, I could put part of the scenery in the background to fill it out, but this is kind of what I wanted. It's clean, it's clear, it's quite cool. Right? Don't know. What do you guys think? Let's have a vote. Let's have a vote in the chat. Right? Give me a thumbs up for you like it. Give me a thumbs down for you don't. Am I going to get any thumbs up or thumbs down? Or does everybody just love it? We can have dissenting views, by the way. You're allowed to have a dissenting view, right? As long as you tell me why you think it's crap, right? You can't just say it's crap. You've got to say it's crap because. Well, the ayes have it. That's 3 and there's 5 in the chat, so it's minimum I can win 3-0, right? Or 3-2 would be the. Right? I mean, one of the things I was going to do, right? If you exit the game, he falls to his knees and prays, type thing. I wanted some like comedic effect, like if you continue or new game, he'll do something that's, you know, like, oh no, I don't want to do this or whatever, right? Oh, it's 4 hours plus chatbot. Well, I still can't lose then because I'm 3 up. So I'm going to call that a win. As I said, I changed the font on this to something a bit more that I liked. And then I changed this and put it to flat because I thought it was a bit cliche. And then my modeler done this and then I did all the animation stuff. Brought them in from Mixamo and whatever, right? So I think that looks quite good. I don't care what you guys say anymore because I won 3-0. And the chat bot, by the way, just messaged me and said he likes it as well. Right, so anyway. What were we doing? Can't remember. Oh yeah, we were doing Nosferatu, weren't we? How am I supposed to remember that stuff? Right, his clothes are a bit wild. But we'll worry about that later. But I think Nosferatu is looking pretty good. Right, so actually, what we need to do here is we've got already our undead pack, right? And this is our Lichy boy, right? Now, Lichy boy can actually get copied into our blueprint for, well, I'll tell you what we'll do, right? The first thing we'll do is we'll change this, right? And we'll change the mesh to Nosferatu, right? We'll check our viewport. That's looking good, but it might be a bit on the floor too much. So I'm going to look at front and we'll check it against, yeah, he's a bit low. Right, he's a bit low. Cool. So we'll save that now. Mesh is okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change them to there. Right? And then if we go to perspective, there he is. Okay. Yeah, Thomas, AI's already got vision. He has a 90% vision code, 90% field of view. Right, so if I just hit clickety click button, we're going to do an async load on this, right? There he is. Oh, and he is quite spooky. Now, is he walking? Yeah, he's walking. He's walking alright. Right, I've got stuck on something here. Right, do we think that's scary enough? We're not going to worry about that. I'm going to have to say, I'll do that off stream. Right, this is a bit more light. Right. Where is he? There he is. I wanted to get into the light because I want to be able to see. Awful dark. Bloody dark. Right, and I hate it. Yeah, I'm going to sort that off stream once I'm finished. Yeah, it's possible. Candle. I'm actually just wanting to see. Well, it might not be. It might be a. No, we don't want to do that. That's going to introduce some unnecessary complications. Right, we're going to save all that, right? Okay, well that's saving. I'm going to go grab a cigarette. I shall be back in 2 minutes. So if you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe. Check the description for Discord and we support the channel. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Alright, we're back, guys. Now, Thomas, behave yourself, right? You don't have volumetric fog in a house, right? Come on. You just don't. Now, I'd maybe give you dust particles in the air, which we could do by just throwing a particle system in front of the camera. Perfectly doable. But come on, we're not having volumetric fog in a house. We're going for realism here. Well, pseudo-realism. Right, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to turn the directional light up so I can see. That's what it was. Oh, okay, I still can't see. Right, where'd they go? Right, if I pick up my map, I'll be able to see them. Right, now that looks like that because of the map, because of that directional light, so don't worry about it, guys. Right, but what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to switch that light back off, right? And we're going to have to go to lighting. We're going to have to go to our lighting thing, right? So if we'll keep that open for now, right? And yeah, we're in maps, so that's good. We want maps. Give me maps. I want maps. Right, there's maps. So we want layout. We want layout parts. And then this is going to give us our light, right? Then we can browse to that, because we can't never remember where the bloody hell it is, right? And then we can go to our point light, and then we can bang this to like 7,500, right? Because we're mental, and because we know we just need to take a zero off, and that's the point. Right, so now our lights, is he walking? Because I don't know if he's walking or not, right? And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to stay with our light, and we're going to have to put an attenuation radius on it a bit bigger as well, right? Because it's okay at being super strong, but if it ain't got no range, well, it would more be crawling on the ceiling, to be honest, right? Oh, it's my... Right, okay. Getting too excited. Right, there you go. Right, so now we can actually see, right? So now we can actually see if our dude is actually walking or if he's not. Or if he's doing weird stuff. No, he's sliding across the floor. Right. So basically our animation blueprint ain't right. Okay. And of course it's not right, because I haven't set the bloody thing up. Right? And this is where it all goes dramatically wrong. Right? Because this is where this becomes not valid, and then it doesn't work, and I lose my shit. right? So we say is valid, right? And it bloody better be. Right? And then I believe we get forward vector, right? And it might not be that, but we get vector length, right? And then that basically gives us our speed, right? Duh. Right, so you better be walking now. Okay, you're no walking. Right, you're basically a dick. Right, I'm betting you $1 million that this is not valid. Right, and it always does this, and I don't know why. Right, are you valid? No, you're not, because you're a prat. Now, I don't know why it does this. And it might be... No, that should be right. Right, let's have a look at our BP character. Character movement. Right, this should have nothing to do with it. Right, but while we're at it, we'll set this down to 300 because that's what it should be. We'll set that to 100 because that's what it should be. Right. And aye, that should be it. Shouldn't need to do anything with that. Right. Mesh. Oh! No, that's alright. No, wait a minute, wait a minute. Right, this might be because I used them as... Right, this is what it is. It's because I used it as the like, right? But what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to go to the like. You're a jammy git, ain't you? What do you need to tell me that for? Right, so all we really need to do is actually copy this crap across to our actual Nosferatu character, right? So let's do that. Right, where's Nosferatu boy? There he's there. Right, so in our char Nosferatu, right, we've got that, we've done that, right? Then placed in the world, we're going with monster controller, right? So that's all cool, and that's all good, right? And then we go with mesh, and we're going to be anim BP Nosferatu, which is cool, right? So we'll check on that, which is this one here, right? Which is cool. And probably a fortune. It would be that much that I would basically tell you naughty. What we're going to do is that, right? We're going to check our BP likey boy. He's got a sphere, right? So we're going to have to add this sphere in. So where's Nosferatu boy? So we're going to add a sphere collision. Right? And that's not very big. What the heck? Seven likes on the video. Well, that's about average actually. Right, so that's nowhere near big enough. In fact, neither is that really. We'll go with 256. Right. So what was I doing? Oh, I was doing this. And I just changed Likey Boy and no Nosferatu. So we'll go with 256. Just the same. Compile that. We'll go to our event graph. Then we'll go to Likey Boy's event graph. And this is the sphere thing here. Right, so we're going to copy that. Then we're going to go to here. And we're going to paste it. Alright, and that's good. And then we've got on the sphere overlap. Begin overlap. Right, and we're going to do this, hopefully. Paste that in. Aye, it's about that time actually for saving it all. Other actor in there. File. Save all. It's funny how it didn't compile, eh? Well, it's not really that funny, but anyway. Right, so let's go back to Likey Boy. Okay, let's know, because we'll just delete him instead after there. Right, let's go back to Likey Boy. That begin overlap, we didn't actually need to do that. Oh, yeah, we do. Got close. Right, this is an AI con, so that's alright. Okay, in theory, we're good. right? In theory, what I can do now is we can remove this guy, right? Don't be scared, folks, it's all going to be alright. We go to Nosferatu guy and we drag him in there, and then we can spin him around. Spin him around. And then we can plonk him about there, I'd say. Okay, we don't want to do that. Right, so that looks alright to me. Right. So Nosferatu boy should actually walk now. And he should have a pawn. And it should all work. And he's still sliding like a slidey boy, but we've got an error, which is good. Access none. Oh, we do like an access none. Oh yeah, update marker, monster marker. So we need to update monster marker. Right? Because good old monster marker is his ref monster is to be P like, and we didn't want it to be that. We want Nosferatu. Right, and that's going to actually end up being monster. Right, we're going to base class this. Are you going to be an asshole now? Right, so get that. That can go in there. That can go in there. I don't know why you need to do that, Thomas. We'll dismiss those errors. Right, now, the interesting thing there was it didn't break here. Right, which is kind of scary. Right? That kind of scares me a bit. Nosferatu. Right, now it looks to me right, hang on a second here. There's something somewhere that I'm not doing. Right, and it might be in the character itself. Or it might not. Right, this is weird. BP like. That's no like, that's liking. Right, so that's that. And that was using that. Now, there's somewhere, and I can't remember where, but there's somewhere that I use this to update an anim instance. Was that in the main menu or was that the like? But whatever's going on, it ain't using that animation. Right? Whatever's going on, it just ain't using that animation. Right? Is there something in the behavior tree that's killing this? Or the AI controller? It might be the AI controller actually. Right, let's have a look at the AI controller. AI perception was that looks okay to me. Right, that's okay. That's all okay. And it's got its AI perception. Right, so basically what we're saying here, if this gets set, our AI is good. Now, I'm just about ready to do a reset because I know for a fact that animation, right, there you go, he's spotted me, right, so that's all working right. The behavior tree and perception are working absolutely fine. The only point that isn't working is our animation. Okay? And our blend speed. Right? And it looks like it ain't even going in here. Right? Now that's okay. And it's still got none. Right? This is the part that was going to piss me off. Now I don't know why it doesn't have a pawn. Right, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say pawn, right? Pawn object reference. So that would suggest that you have to have a pawn, right? Which would suggest right, I'm not buying this at all. Right, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to check when we create our character, right? We're going to say self no, it's nothing to do with that. It's the pawn isn't valid. Right, so it's never getting there. Right, it's like, is pawn controlled? Target is pawn. Right, now, if we branch this, this should be controlled because this is, it is controlled. You see, is pawn controlled? True. So it is a pawn. Alright? It's definitely a pawn. Because otherwise, how can it be a controlled pawn? Right? So that's like super bizarre. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do, just to test this out, right, when we create this, right, we get an instance right, bear with me here. And we cast to BP Nosferatu, right? And now we can say pawn. See, we can say set pawn. And that's not going to go in there, right? But that's okay. We're not worried about that. What we want to actually do here is go to here and we'll change this to Nos BP Nosferatu, right? And then we'll do that, we'll pull this in, we'll plug that in there, then we'll plug that in there, we'll save that, right? Then we'll go back here, we'll drag this up a bit, that's not a pawn, right? We delete that, we say set pawn, right? And then what we do is we do a get self and we plug that in there, right? Okay. And next we disable that breakpoint and we add a breakpoint there. We step over how come that's nothing? We'll resume that, and it's still none. Right, okay. I might need to put a delay on this. Because it might need time to start this up. Right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to we can just stick a delay in there actually. We can do a delay. And we'll change it to a second. It gives it time. Right, we'll remove this. Then we'll press play. It's still not working, guys. It's nothing to do with that. The speed is controlling a blend space. Okay? Right? But the point is that it's never firing the speed. Right? It's never firing this. So this is always nothing. Right? This pawn is always nothing. Now, even when I set it directly, it's telling me that pawn is nothing. Right? Unless it never gets to here. There it is. Right? And our target is our animation Nosferatu, and we're setting the pawn to ourselves. Right? And it does it. It definitely does it, but it's not. It's not working quite right. Now you can see him looking about, right? So that's his idle state. And now he chases me. But he's never using... I mean, the thing is here that we should be able to look at the behaviour tree as well. Right? Now, if it's not working, it'll never come down here. Right? Because this is the chase. Okay? So, if I move this up a bit, right, we press play again, right, we resume that, right, and we're looking at our behaviour tree, so he's wandering, okay, so that's fine, that's exactly what we'd expect, and now he sees me and he's chasing, right, so all of that is okay, all of that is perfectly fine, right. Now, the thing I want to see, oops, is not that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a save all. Then I'm going to come out of here. Then I'm going to reload it. Okay. Oh yeah, Mr. Spot, the other thing is it would take about a month and a half to get here. If you sent me Quality Street, it would probably take about a month and a half. Or at least a couple of weeks. But from a couple of weeks up to about a month and a half. Plus, if you sent Quality Street, they'd probably be finished by the time they got here as well. Right, so we are now open again. Right, we're going to ignore that, right? We're going to say, go away. Then we're going to go to maps. Then we're going to go to here. I have had this type of issue before, where the animation just basically doesn't work, and then you basically go in, you delete everything out, then you run it again, and it just suddenly starts working again for some unknown reason. Right, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to get our monsters, and in here we've got Nosferatu original, and we'll drop him in here. Right, and we'll save that, then we'll press play. Now, it wouldn't surprise me either way if this works or it doesn't, right? Either way, I wouldn't be surprised. Right, so it's still not working. And our animation blueprint has still decided not to work. And this pawn is still saying nothing. Right? Now I'll show you what I mean by that. Right? If we go to here and type in NOS, right, where is he? Where's our monster about? Right, where the heck is our monster? It's BP car. Right? And if we click on him, right? He's using that animation blueprint. Everything's cool. And can we look at his animation? Right, let's see if we can. Apparently we can't. But apparently the pawn is set to nothing. Right? And we can basically prove that. Right? Because what we can do here is just do print. Well, actually, if we just do print string here, right? And we'll get a display name in here. Right? Then we do that. Then basically it's BP char. So this is something. Right, wait a goddamn minute. If I delete that, and I just plug this straight into speed, and press play, Are you telling me that's still not working? Set speed. Right, am I doing this the wrong way or something? I don't know what you mean. Meshes don't necessarily cause lag just because it's nothing to do with Blender. Right. I'm confusing myself here, I think. Because this had... I even made the animation blueprints for these. It's get velocity. It's get velocity. It's not get forward vector. Of course, if we get forward vector, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I can be an idiot sometimes. Happens to the best of us. Right, Mr. Nosferatu. He's definitely walking, but he's walking in the wrong direction. And that's because he's not really walking in place, right? Now, he needs to turn to the right. So... needs to turn to the right. Right, where is he? Right. See if he's not facing the right direction. Right, so he needs to go 270. Okay. Now, what I think here is that I think I can switch this off, right? And if you look at this, there's somewhere I believe that you can switch off movement, right? You can tell it not to use the movement. Now, I can't remember where it is and where I saw it. Import meshes, use default. Right. There is somewhere I saw this. I'll need to look at this in the export add loop and get. Right. Okay, well, I'm going to call it for today, or not for today actually, for this afternoon. I'll be back at 8 p.m. Central. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. This is a bit of hate, which is the shilling part. Check the description for Discord and how you can support the channel on Patreon for as little as $1, and you can also have a look at my previous game on Steam. It's called FTD2. Thanks you all for watching, and I shall see you in a few hours. Bye bye for now.